What if everything you've been taught about beauty is incomplete? What if the most attractive women in the room aren't always the ones with perfect features, flawless makeup, or the latest fashion but the ones who make people feel seen, valued, and inspired? Years from now, no one will remember the brand of your lipstick or the style of your outfit. They'll remember how you made them feel. Because real beauty isn't something you wear, it's something you become. Today, I want to share 5 signs that reveal a beauty no mirror can measure. We live in a world that constantly tells women they need to change something about themselves. Be thinner, be taller, dress differently, look younger, smile more. The message is always the same. You're almost enough, but not quite. But have you ever wondered who benefits from making us believe we're never enough? Here's the truth. Attractiveness isn't about perfection. It's about presence. Beauty isn't about comparison. It's about character. The women who leave the deepest impression aren't necessarily the ones who look perfect. They're the ones who know who they are and choose to lift others instead of competing with them. So the next time you look in the mirror, don't ask, "Am I beautiful enough?" Ask a better question. Did I make someone's day better today? Did I stay true to my values? Did I become a little wiser, a little kinder, and a little stronger than I was yesterday? Because the world has enough people chasing perfection. What it needs are more women who embrace authenticity, live with purpose, and inspire others simply by being themselves. That is the kind of beauty that never goes out of style. And that's the kind of beauty no one can ever take away. Have you ever noticed that the people who leave the strongest impression on us are rarely remembered because of how they looked? Years later, we may struggle to remember the color of their eyes or the clothes they wore, but we never forget how they made us feel. That's because true beauty has never been about appearance alone. It has always been about purpose. Purpose gives beauty depth. Without purpose, beauty may attract attention for a moment. With purpose, it inspires people for a lifetime. The world spends billions of dollars every year convincing women that beauty is something they can buy, apply, or achieve if they simply fix one more flaw. Every advertisement whispers the same message. You're almost there, but not quite. It tells you that happiness is just one product, one treatment, or one trend away. But here's the question worth asking. If beauty were only about appearance, why do so many people who seem to have it all still struggle with confidence? Why do some women who fit every beauty standard still feel invisible, while others who don't fit those standards naturally command respect and admiration wherever they go? The difference is purpose. Purpose changes the way you walk into a room. It changes the way you speak, the way you carry yourself, and the way you respond to challenges. A woman who knows why she wakes up every morning doesn't need to compete with anyone else. She isn't constantly looking over her shoulder, wondering if someone is prettier, smarter, or more successful. She understands that life is not a competition, but a journey. Her energy is directed toward becoming the best version of herself, rather than trying to become someone else. Think about the women who have inspired history. Many of them were admired not because they fit society's definition of physical perfection, but because they stood for something greater than themselves. They had a mission. They had values. They had a reason to keep going when life became difficult. Their purpose became their greatest source of beauty because it gave people hope. It gave people confidence. It gave people something worth following. Purpose has a remarkable way of changing how others see you. When you speak with conviction, people listen. When you live with integrity, people trust you. When your actions consistently reflect your values, people respect you. None of those qualities can be purchased. None of them come from a mirror. They come from knowing who you are and what you stand for. Imagine 2 women walking into the same room. One spends the entire evening worrying about whether people like her outfit, whether her makeup is perfect, or whether she looks better than everyone else. The other walks into the room thinking about how she can encourage someone, help someone, or contribute something meaningful to the conversation. Which woman do you think people will remember? The answer is almost always the second one. Why? Because people are naturally drawn to those who make life better for others. Purpose shifts your attention away from yourself and toward making a positive impact. This doesn't mean taking care of your appearance isn't important. Looking after yourself is a form of self-respect. But appearance should be an expression of who you are, not the foundation of your worth. When your identity depends entirely on how you look, your confidence rises and falls with every compliment, every criticism, and every passing year. But when your identity is rooted in purpose, your confidence becomes far more stable because it is built on something that grows stronger over time. Purpose also gives you resilience. There will be days when life doesn't go as planned. There will be moments when you feel overlooked, rejected, or misunderstood. If your value is based only on appearance, those moments can leave you questioning everything about yourself. But when you know your purpose, setbacks become lessons instead of definitions. You understand that your mission is bigger than a single bad day, a single opinion, or a single disappointment. One of the most attractive qualities any person can possess is passion. Passion cannot be faked. You can see it in someone's eyes when they talk about what matters to them. You can hear it in their voice. You can feel it in the energy they bring into every room. Passion is simply purpose in action. It transforms ordinary conversations into meaningful ones, and ordinary lives into inspiring examples. So instead of asking yourself, how can I become more beautiful? Ask a different question. What is my purpose? What values do I want to live by? How can I make someone's life a little better today? Those questions have the power to change not only how others see you, but also how you see yourself. Because in the end, beauty that depends on appearance will always be temporary. Beauty that is rooted in purpose becomes timeless. It grows through every challenge, every act of kindness, every lesson learned, and every life touched. And when a woman discovers her purpose, she stops chasing the world's definition of beauty and starts becoming the kind of person whose presence alone inspires others. That is the beauty that lasts. That is the beauty people never forget. Confidence is one of the most attractive qualities a woman can possess, but confidence is often misunderstood. Many people confuse it with arrogance. They assume that the loudest person in the room is the most confident, or that confidence means proving you're better than everyone else. But true confidence doesn't need to announce itself. It doesn't need constant attention, approval, or applause. Real confidence is quiet. It is steady. It comes from knowing your worth, not from convincing others of it. Think about the people you admire most. Chances are, they don't spend all their time trying to impress others. They don't constantly seek validation through compliments or social media likes. They don't compare themselves with everyone around them. Instead, they have a calm sense of self. They know who they are, what they believe, and what they stand for. That quiet certainty is what draws people toward them. The problem is that many women have been taught to measure their value through external approval. From a young age, they are told to seek acceptance, to fit in, to look a certain way, and to gain recognition from others. Over time, it becomes easy to believe that confidence comes from being praised. But if your confidence depends on someone else's opinion, then someone else's opinion can also take it away. Imagine building a house on sand. It may look beautiful for a while, but the first storm will shake its foundation. Confidence built on compliments works the same way. On the days people praise you, you feel unstoppable. But on the days you receive criticism, rejection, or silence, your confidence begins to crumble. That's because it was never built on something solid. True confidence is built on character, values, and self-respect. It comes from keeping promises to yourself. It comes from doing the right thing even when no one is watching. It grows every time you overcome fear, learn from failure, and choose progress over perfection. These are the experiences that create lasting confidence because they remind you that your value is not determined by anyone else's approval. A confident woman doesn't need to compare herself with others because she understands that comparison steals joy. There will always be someone who looks different, earns more, has a bigger audience, or seems more successful. If your happiness depends on being better than everyone else, you'll spend your entire life chasing a finish line that keeps moving. But when you focus on becoming a better version of yourself instead of competing with others, something remarkable happens. You stop feeling threatened by other people's success and start feeling inspired by it. Confidence also means being comfortable with imperfection. No one has everything figured out. Everyone has insecurities, fears, and moments of doubt. The difference is that confident people don't let those doubts control their decisions. They acknowledge them, learn from them, and keep moving forward. They understand that growth matters more than perfection. One of the strongest signs of confidence is the ability to say, "I don't know," without feeling embarrassed. It takes confidence to admit mistakes, ask for help, and remain open to learning. Arrogance pretends to have all the answers because it fears looking weak. Confidence embraces learning because it knows that growth is a strength, not a weakness. Have you ever noticed how confident people make others feel comfortable? They don't dominate every conversation or try to prove they're the smartest person in the room. They listen. They encourage. They celebrate other people's achievements without feeling diminished. That's because confidence isn't about taking the spotlight. It's about creating enough light for everyone to shine. Confidence also changes the way you handle criticism. If your identity depends on everyone's approval, criticism feels like a personal attack. But when you know your worth, you can separate feedback from your identity. You can ask yourself, is there something I can learn from this? Instead of immediately becoming defensive. This mindset allows you to grow stronger rather than becoming discouraged. There is a quiet strength in walking into a room without feeling the need to impress anyone. You don't have to wear a mask or pretend to be someone you're not. You don't need to seek constant reassurance because your sense of worth comes from within. That kind of confidence is incredibly attractive because it gives other people permission to be themselves too. The truth is, confidence is not something you are born with. It is something you build, one decision at a time. Every time you choose courage over fear, honesty over pretense, kindness over comparison, and purpose over popularity, your confidence grows a little stronger. It isn't built overnight, and it isn't built by perfection. It is built through consistency. So stop asking, do people think I'm enough? Instead, ask yourself, am I living according to my values? Am I becoming the person I want to be? Those are the questions that create real confidence. Because the most beautiful woman isn't the one who never doubts herself. She's the one who refuses to let those doubts define her. She knows her worth, she walks with quiet strength, and she understands that the greatest approval she will ever receive is the respect she has for herself. That kind of confidence never goes out of style, and it is one of the most powerful forms of beauty anyone can possess. There is something unforgettable about a person who makes you feel valued. You may not remember every word they said or every detail of the conversation, but you remember how you felt in their presence. You felt heard. You felt respected. You felt like for a few moments you truly mattered. That feeling is rare, and because it is rare, it is incredibly attractive. The most beautiful women are not always those who receive the most attention. They are often the ones who give the most attention to others. We live in a world filled with distractions. Everyone is looking at a screen, rushing to the next task, or thinking about what they want to say next instead of truly listening. Genuine attention has become one of the greatest gifts you can offer another person. When a woman looks someone in the eye, listens without interrupting, and responds with sincerity instead of judgment, she communicates something powerful without saying it directly. She says, "You matter." People have a deep desire to be seen, not for their appearance, their status, or their achievements, but for who they truly are. Every person you meet is carrying a story that you know nothing about. Some are fighting battles they never speak of. Some are celebrating victories that no one has noticed. Some are simply hoping that someone will acknowledge them. A woman who understands this naturally treats people with kindness because she knows that everyone deserves dignity and respect. Think about the people who have had the greatest impact on your life. Chances are they weren't the ones who constantly talked about themselves. They were the ones who asked questions, listened carefully, remembered the little things, and made you feel important. They had the ability to make a room feel smaller because, in that moment, you felt like you had their complete attention. That is a rare quality, and it creates connections that last far longer than physical attraction ever could. One of the reasons this quality is so powerful is because it shifts the focus away from yourself. Many people spend their lives worrying about how they are being perceived. They wonder if they look good enough, sound smart enough, or fit in with everyone around them. But when you begin focusing on making others feel comfortable instead of trying to impress them, something changes. Your own insecurities begin to fade because your attention is no longer trapped inside your all. And it is directed towards serving others. This doesn't mean ignoring your own needs or allowing people to take advantage of your kindness. Making others feel valued is not about pleasing everyone or sacrificing your self-respect. It is about recognizing the humanity in every person you meet. It means treating the receptionist with the same respect as the CEO. It means thanking the waiter, encouraging a friend, comforting someone who is struggling, and showing patience when life becomes difficult. Character is revealed in how we treat people who have nothing to offer us in return. A truly beautiful woman understands that words have power. A simple compliment can change someone's entire day. A few encouraging sentences can restore hope to someone who feels like giving up. A genuine "how are you?" followed by sincere listening can remind a person that they are not alone. These moments may seem small, but they leave lasting impressions. We often underestimate the impact of ordinary kindness because we rarely see the ripple effect it creates. Have you ever noticed how some people brighten a room simply by entering it? It isn't because they are the loudest or the most glamorous. It is because they carry warmth. They smile sincerely. They remember names. They celebrate other people's successes without jealousy. They make people feel welcome instead of judged. Their presence becomes a place of safety, and everyone is drawn to that kind of energy. Kindness is often mistaken for weakness, but in reality, it takes tremendous strength. It is easy to criticize. It is easy to gossip. It is easy to ignore people who seem unimportant. It takes courage to choose compassion when the world encourages competition. It takes maturity to celebrate someone else's achievements instead of comparing them to your own. A woman who consistently chooses kindness demonstrates an inner strength that no physical beauty can replace. Making others feel valued also means believing in people before they fully believe in themselves. Sometimes a single word of encouragement can become the turning point in someone's life. You never know when your support, your patience, or your belief in another person will inspire them to keep going. That is why true influence is never about controlling people. It is about empowering them. The remarkable thing about giving value to others is that it doesn't diminish your own value. In fact, it does the opposite. The more you encourage others, the more respected you become. The more generously you listen, the stronger your relationships become. The more sincerely you care, the more unforgettable your presence becomes. People are naturally drawn to those who make them feel better about themselves, not worse. At the end of the day, beauty is not measured by how many people notice you. It is measured by how many people feel uplifted after spending time with you. Long after appearance changes and trends disappear, people will remember your kindness, your compassion, and the way you made them feel seen. That is a kind of beauty that never fades. It cannot be bought, copied, or filtered. It is earned through everyday choices to love, encourage, and value the people around you. And when a woman possesses that quality, she becomes attractive in a way that reaches far beyond what the eyes can see, leaving an impression that remains in people's hearts for years to come. In a world that constantly encourages people to compete, compare, and criticize, kindness has become one of the rarest qualities a person can possess. Yet it is also one of the most attractive. Many people believe beauty comes from perfect features, expensive clothes, or flawless makeup. Those things may catch someone's attention for a moment, but kindness captures something much deeper. It earns trust, creates lasting relationships, and leaves an impression that no physical appearance can match. A truly beautiful woman is not defined by how she looks on her best day, but by how she treats others on their worst day. Kindness is often misunderstood. Some people think it means always agreeing with others, avoiding conflict, or allowing themselves to be taken advantage of. But genuine kindness is not weakness. In fact, it requires tremendous strength. It is easy to be kind when life is going well and everyone is treating you with respect. The real test comes when someone disappoints you, misunderstands you, or treats you unfairly. Choosing kindness in those moments takes emotional maturity and inner confidence. Think about the people who inspire you the most. Chances are, they are not remembered because they were perfect. They are remembered because they showed compassion when it mattered most. They forgave instead of seeking revenge. They encouraged instead of criticizing. They lifted others up instead of tearing them down. Their kindness became a reflection of their character, and that character became more beautiful than anything the eye could see. Every day gives us opportunities to choose between judgment and understanding. Imagine someone speaks harshly to you. Your first reaction might be to respond with the same negativity. After all, it feels natural to return what we receive. But kindness asks a different question. Instead of asking, "How do I get even?" it asks, "What might this person be going through?" That simple shift in perspective changes everything. It reminds us that everyone is fighting battles we cannot see. This doesn't mean accepting harmful behavior or staying silent in the face of injustice. Healthy boundaries are important. Kindness and self-respect can exist together. A kind woman knows when to forgive, but she also knows when to walk away from relationships that repeatedly damage her peace. She understands that kindness includes treating herself with the same respect she offers others. One of the greatest acts of kindness is choosing not to compete with other women. Society often creates the illusion that another woman's success somehow reduces your own opportunities. It encourages comparison instead of collaboration. But truly beautiful women reject this mindset. They celebrate another woman's achievements because they understand that someone else's light does not dim their own. In fact, they know that encouraging others creates a stronger, vastitude and more supportive community where everyone can grow. Kindness is also reflected in the words we choose. Words have incredible power. A few careless comments can damage someone's confidence for years, while a few sincere words of encouragement can completely change the direction of someone's life. A beautiful woman recognizes this responsibility. She doesn't gossip to gain attention. She doesn't insult others to make herself appear superior. Instead, she speaks with honesty, respect, and compassion because she understands that every conversation leaves an impact. Have you ever noticed how certain people make everyone around them feel safe? You don't worry about being judged in their presence. You feel accepted. You feel understood. That feeling doesn't happen by accident. It is created through countless small acts of kindness, listening without interrupting, showing patience, offering encouragement, remembering important details, and making time for people even when life becomes busy. These simple actions communicate something powerful. You matter. Kindness also transforms the person who gives it. When your focus shifts from constantly proving yourself to genuinely serving others, you experience a different kind of fulfillment. Your confidence no longer depends on comparison, because your joy comes from making a positive dindry. Instead of asking, how can I get people to notice me? You begin asking, how can I make someone's day better? That question changes not only your relationships, but also your perspective on life. Some of the strongest people in the world are also the kindest. They have experienced disappointment, heartbreak, rejection, and failure. Yet they refuse to let those experiences harden their hearts. Instead of becoming bitter, they become more compassionate because they know what pain feels like. They choose to be the person they once needed. That is true strength. There will always be people who mistake kindness for weakness. They may believe that gentle people are easier to manipulate or overlook, but history consistently proves the opposite. The people who create lasting influence are rarely those who lead through fear. They are the ones who lead through empathy, integrity, and genuine care for others. Their kindness becomes their greatest source of influence because people naturally trust those who consistently act with compassion. At the end of the day, physical beauty changes with time. Fashion trends come and go, appearances evolve, but kindness grows more valuable with every passing year. It enriches relationships, strengthens communities, and creates memories that outlive outward appearance. Years from now, people may not remember the hairstyle you wore or the clothes you owned, but they will remember the comfort you offered, the encouragement you gave, the respect you showed, and the hope you inspired. That is the kind of beauty that never fades. It is not found in a mirror but in the heart, and it shines brightest when life gives you every reason to choose anger, yet you choose kindness instead. One of the most attractive qualities a woman can possess has nothing to do with her appearance. It is her willingness to keep growing. There is something inspiring about a person who refuses to stay the same, who embraces every experience as an opportunity to become wiser, stronger, and kinder. Growth is a form of beauty that never fades because it is not limited by age, trends, or circumstances. While physical beauty naturally changes over time, a woman who continues to learn and evolve becomes even more captivating with every passing year. Many people believe that reaching a certain level of success means they have finally arrived. They stop learning because they think they already know enough. But the most inspiring people understand that life is a lifelong classroom. Every conversation teaches something. Every mistake offers a lesson. Every challenge presents an opportunity to grow. A beautiful woman never assumes she has all the answers. Instead, she remains curious, humble, and open to discovering new perspectives. Think about the difference between a stagnant pond and a flowing river. A pond that never moves eventually becomes cloudy and lifeless. A river, however, stays fresh because it is constantly flowing. Human character works the same way. When we stop growing, we become trapped in old habits, outdated beliefs, and unnecessary fears. But when we remain open to learning, we continue to discover new strengths within ourselves. That constant movement toward becoming better is deeply attractive because it reflects hope, resilience, and purpose. Growth often begins with humility. It takes courage to admit that you don't know everything. It takes confidence to say, I was wrong, or I still have more to learn. Ironically, the strongest people are often the quickest to admit their mistakes because they Understand that being wrong is not a sign of failure. It is simply part of becoming wiser. Pride keeps people stuck, but humility opens the door to transformation. One of the greatest obstacles to growth is the fear of failure. Many women avoid trying new things because they worry about making mistakes or being judged by others. They remain in comfortable routines, believing it is safer than risking disappointment. But every meaningful achievement begins with the willingness to be a beginner. Every expert was once inexperienced. Every successful person has faced rejection, setbacks, and moments of doubt. The difference is that they chose to keep moving instead of giving up. A woman who embraces growth understands that failure does not define her. Instead, she sees it as feedback. She asks, "What can this experience teach me?" rather than, "Why did this happen to me?" That mindset changes everything. Instead of allowing obstacles to destroy her confidence, she allows them to strengthen her character. Every setback becomes another step toward becoming the person she is meant to be. Growth is also reflected in emotional maturity. It means learning how to respond instead of simply reacting. It means choosing patience when frustration feels easier. It means learning to forgive, not because others always deserve it, but because carrying resentment only weighs down your own heart. Emotional growth allows a woman to navigate life's challenges with grace rather than bitterness, and that quiet strength is incredibly attractive. Another sign of continuous growth is the willingness to seek feedback. Many people avoid constructive criticism because they see it as an attack on their worth. But a woman committed to growth understands that honest feedback is a gift. It reveals blind spots that she cannot see on her own. Instead of becoming defensive, she listens carefully, reflects thoughtfully, and uses those insights to improve. This attitude not only accelerates personal development, but also earns the respect of those around her. Reading books, learning new skills, exploring different cultures, listening to diverse perspectives, and asking thoughtful questions are all ways to continue growing. Every new experience expands your understanding of the world and deepens your ability to connect with others. A curious mind is attractive because it is alive. It keeps conversations meaningful, relationships exciting, and life filled with discovery. As we come to the end, remember this: true beauty is never defined by a mirror, a trend, or someone else's opinion. It is revealed through your purpose, your confidence, your kindness, the value you bring to others, and your commitment to keep growing every day. These are the qualities that make a woman truly attractive and unforgettable. So don't spend your life chasing perfection. Spend it becoming the best version of yourself. Thank you all for your time, your attention, and for allowing me to share this message with you today. I hope you leave here not only inspired, but also reminded that your greatest beauty has always come from within. Thank you, and have a wonderful day.